Okay, now you have your introduction paragraph done. At least your first draft of your introduction paragraph. Now you are going to your body paragraph one, which is talking about your similarities. So here we go. All right, so this is my introduction paragraph. I got that one done. This is my wood I work on, y'all, so don't worry about that. So now my next paragraph, which would be my body paragraph, which talks about my similarities. And I'm just answering the questions and I'm putting them and I'm citing the evidence on where I'm getting my information from. So as I walk through this, you'll see how this actually goes. With my body paragraph, I do not have to write body paragraph up here. All I have to do is indent. So my thing, the first question says, what is the major similarity between the two subjects? I have both settings push the sisters, especially Odelia, to grow up and take on responsibility. That is going to be my first sentence. That will be my first sentence of this next paragraph. As I continue this paragraph, I need to cite textual evidence, I need to quote, and add the page number or the chapter that it's actually in. So let's get started with writing this one. So I'm going to start with my indentation. I'm going to put my finger down if I have to, or you can eyeball it. Both settings do I want to say both settings? No. And if you do not use a pencil and you use a pen, the way you correct yourself, you draw one line through it and you write on top or you write on the side. Do not scribble. Do not scribble with your ink pen or anything like that. Pencil, I can erase this. If you're using a pen or something, you draw one line through it because you always want to go back and see what it is. The reason why I crossed this out, because instead of saying settings, I want to use the actual wording that I put in my introduction paragraph. So both Texas, and I'm just going to write it right on top, and Mexico push the sisters. And remember, you normally have a red margin over here. You try not to go all the way to the end of the paper. You can go over it a little bit, but you don't want to go all the way to the end. I'm going to skip a line again. Push the sisters, especially, there I go spelling wrong again, Odelia, to grow up and take on responsibility. Now, this one is the answer to that first question. What is the major similarity of both between the two subjects? This one sentence right here states that. Now I'm going to go into the fact of what happens in Texas and what happens in Mexico that shows responsibility and quote evidence along with it. So I'm going to start with Texas. In Texas, Odelia is already acting like a second mother. I wrote down what it is. Now I have to back this up with evidence. How is she acting like a second mother? Well, she explains. And because this is what she says, I'm going to put quotation marks. I have been taking care of my sister since Papa left. And you can fast forward a little bit through here as I'm writing if you need to. Taking care of my sisters, what did I say, since Papa left, right? And this is actually, this is directly out the book. This is what she said, and it's actually in chapter 1. So I am citing the evidence of where it is. You must have your evidence on where you cited it and where you got it from. Now I go in to explain how did her leadership, from what she says, how did it show that while she was in Texas? Her leadership begins in a setting, because we want to tell how did her leadership show in Texas when Papa actually did leave. Filled with struggle. See, I believe this is on here too. Okay, that's the next explanation that I have for in Mexico. With struggle, silence, and absence. Now that I have stated the first similarity, I took Texas first. I told what she said in the book. I quoted it and put my evidence down. And I told how she showed that particular leadership in Texas. Now I'm going to go to Mexico. So now it's still in the same paragraph because we're just talking about similarities. So now I'm going to have down here similarly, in Mexico, the girl's face, new threats, I'm sorry. Like the chupacabras. I hope I said that right. Y'all know how I am with these words. Chupacabras. And are forced to act bravely. Okay, so now I begin to talk about the chupacabras. That one was actually in chapter 7. So the next thing that I will do here is I will go and find in chapter 7 where it shows that they were brave. I will state that. And then I will say that those and how those similarities support the theme. So I want to go through this entire paragraph because it does ask you to explain and talk about how it goes along with the theme itself. So after they show bravery there, when they protected innocent children during the encounter in chapter 7, that's what happened in chapter 7. So now I'm gonna back up how they showed this bravery. When they protect innocent children during the encounter, and this was in chapter 7. Odelia, once again, I spelled that wrong, O-N-C-E. Once again, leads her sisters. Ooh, look how I spelled that, y'all. To safety. Now that I have that part, I spoke about how it was in that chapter, so I cited the evidence. Now I am going to go into the fact of how it supports the novel's theme. How does it support the novel's theme? Now, whether at home or on the road, the sisters faced test of maturity. And I don't have to write on the back. I'm just going to go to the next page and continue. This similarity supports the novel's theme. Of growing. Now I have to state which type of theme I'm thinking of growing through hardship and shows how both settings shape their development. Okay, so now I'm done with my second paragraph. My second paragraph talks about similarities. I'm not going to write out the whole other 3 paragraphs, but we are going to talk about it. So now you ought to go to the next video.